All right, guys, as always, these cars are, massive projects, but there's normally a story, or should be a story behind these cars beyond just the fact that they want a cool custom car. And so I think it's really important that today we talk about the Chevelle in a different light. We don't just get to hear about all the build process and all that stuff, but we actually get to hear about the car and the owners and the history that it has and the meaning it has to them. So today we have Stephen and Tabby Cyphers. They are the owners of this car, and this car has been a family heirloom to them for a long time. So we're just going to do a quick Q&A and talk to them and figure out what this car means to them. So how long have you had this car, Stephen?
It's coming up on 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
So who'd you get it from?
My uncle, he had it. It was just a couple years old when he got it, and he drove it for a while, and actually sat out in the field behind my grandmother's house for a long time. And I think when I was, I want to say like 12 or 13, he pulled it out the field, and they kind of repainted it, and got it back going again, and started driving it. And he drove it for, up. It was like that when I bought it, that same paint and everything.
What color was the car?
It was blue. I think they call it marina blue.
Okay.
It had a white top.
And is that what he repainted it, or was that what it was when he got it?
Originally, it was white with red interior.
Okay, cool.
And he painted it blue and put a black interior in it, and it had a white top.
So Ruben, he's your uncle. So this car has a little bit more significance than just the fact that it was his car, right?
Yeah.
You and him had a more important relationship than that?
Yeah, so when I started, I got in the trade I'm in now, right out of high school. And when I was little, my grandfather, which you called him Pop, he was in the trade, and my uncle worked with him. And when me and my brother were little, like 12 and 13, they would take us out on weekends to Food Lions. They were doing a lot of Food Lions, and we'd vacuum out cases, and they just let us. I mean, it was the greatest thing ever, and that's honestly where, like, I wanted to do that kind of work.
Right.
And anyway, my father had a small general contract. He just additions, decks and stuff, and I worked with him. Yeah. And as soon as I got 18, I got into refrigeration. And my uncle, I mean, he trained me. He kind of took me under his wing, and
so he was your mentor.
Yeah, in the trade. And we ended up working for the same company, obviously. And once I kind of got up to speed, my boss would send us out, me and him, on jobs. We pretty much lived together out of town,
So you spent a lot of time together. It was more than just a typical, family member. Like, he was with you.
Oh, you guys, we pretty much lived together 4 days out of the week.
Oh, wow.
We roomed together. We drove separate because he always liked to drive himself. But it was just this thing. But we roomed together, worked together for years.
Wow. So, this car, was it something that, did he buy it with any intent other than just to have a car to drive, or was it, a hot rod to him? What was it in his mind?
I think it was just a pleasure vehicle.
Okay.
He would, I'd go over there and we'd take it out. Always would do a burnout. Like the old single track, but he'd smoke that right wheel, and I think it was more just a pleasure vehicle for him, just take out and cruise around.
That's cool. So was it a family thing? Like, did the other members of your family, did you guys get in this car and go cruising? Or
it was mostly just like me and my brother would go over there, or
So you guys had a pretty close relationship as well. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So I guess the question is, for me, is how did you end up with the car?
So once I kind of got older, he would drop little hints that he might possibly part with it someday.
Right.
And he had 3 daughters, and I told him, if none of your kids want it, he had 3 daughters and 2 children. Right. If none of your kids want it, I want to be the first person you call. Yeah. And he would call me, like, I'm thinking about it, and then I'd like, all right, I'm ready, let
just
me know.
Teasing you a little bit.
And I see him go down the road with the top down. I was like, he ain't selling it, Golly, and one night, man, we were sitting around, and we were married then and in our first house, and he called me. He's like, I'm ready to sell it. You know, he was just kind of trying to get out of debt, and, you know, he said, I'm ready to sell it. And he told me what he wanted for it, and I was like, I'll get the money and I'll come get it.
Man. So did this car have any significance to you other than, you know, through him? Or
pretty much through him.
Okay, all right. And do you have any stories that stick out about your uncle? You know, something funny, something comical that's that tells me you probably do.
Some of our stories I probably shouldn't say on camera. We had that kind of relationship.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, but man, I mean, he would, you know, we like to drink some beers and stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had a pretty good age spread.
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, he called, what are you doing? You know, and he's like, well, I'm gonna come get you, and we just ride around in his van drinking beer, look, you know.
Some of the things you probably don't want to publicize. Yeah, I get that. Well, so from what I understand, the car was pretty rough when you got your hands on it, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was pretty rough. Yeah. It had some underneath stuff that you really couldn't see.
Yeah.
And it had a shed fall on it. He had a shed he parked it under, like a little 4-post, shed, and he came home after a few one night, was cutting donuts in his van and bumped the shed, and it fell down on the car.
Man.
It put creases in the fenders and in the back where the shed fell on it. He came up the next morning and got a couple of us and asked us to help him get the shed up off of it. So it had some dimples and
had some character.
Yeah, it had some character. And our son, we had bought him a 4-wheeler, and he was pretty small, and he was out there riding. The car was parked out there, and he was out riding around and looking at us, waving, bam, right into the side of it. And caved a quarter panel in pretty good. So
oh man!
Needless to say, he was punished from his 4-wheeler for a bit. But yeah, it needed a lot of work.
So this car probably has a little bit of sentimental value to your kids too. Then, if they were kind of around it growing up and everything as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they were actually able to ride in it. Well, my son was. My daughter wasn't.
Yeah.
My son was able to ride in it with the top down and stuff. We didn't drive it a whole lot. We drove it some, you know, but we didn't drive it a whole lot because, we didn't have a lot of money back then, honestly. You know, I had to really scrape up the money, but I didn't want to let it, get away from me.
Right. So when did you decide, or what was the process in deciding to restore this car? What was your original thoughts, your original thinking in it?
Well, I wanted to restore it. When I bought it, I wanted, that's what I wanted to do. I knew it would be a while because, like I said, we were tight on money. But I took it to the guy. He started doing some work on it, and it ended up not great.
Right.
So ended up taking a different route.
Right.
Took it to your shop and.
Because when we got our hands on the car, we were gearing more towards an original style restoration.
I was going to just do more of a nice original, appearance.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was going to do with it. Right.
And a lot of people that have watched us and followed our stuff for a while, they saw the unveiling live. So if you haven't, go back and watch that, because it's a very impactful moment for us at the shop, and I believe for you as well.
It was one of the greatest nights ever, man. It was unreal.
If I'm correct, I'm trying to remember, it had been a long time since you had even seen the car before that day, right?
It had. I think the last time I saw it was the front clip, the motor was in it, the front clip was off, the interior was not in it.
Not even touched yet, right?
No, it hadn't been touched. The doors were off of it. It was basically just frame, motor, in the back.
Yeah. So what were you expecting when you came in that day? I mean, honestly, I'm kind of curious because, I think I would have been a little bit overwhelmed walking into that situation.
Ask her, I was a basket of nerves. My stomach was knotted up all day long, man. And I didn't know what to expect. I had seen a couple pictures from the interior guy. He had sent me some pictures of the interior, so I had a little bit of an idea.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you, man, when that cover came off, I was just blown away. I mean, I was absolutely blown away.
It was like that for us too. I mean, I'll be honest, the guys in the shop, we've working on something, you get emotionally attached to them. And we always have an idea of what it's going to look like, but even for us, it was kind of a surprise. You know, when it started coming together, we started standing back from it and going, wow, you know, this car is actually looking even better than we had hoped it would, because sometimes we make mistakes. I mean, that's the reality. You know, sometimes we do something.
Oh yeah,
we
you
go,
do something like that didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and sometimes you make design changes midway through because it just doesn't work out the way you want to. So, you know, we've had this question. You know, we obviously all have our favorite parts of the car. What would you like? You know, if you had to pick one thing on the car, what's your favorite part about it?
Wow, man. I mean, it's hard to pick just one thing, but I'd have to say under the hood would be the if I had to pick one, stance would be second, you know. I mean, I love the whole thing.
For everybody that's watching this, just so you're aware, it was a little bit of a tough sell on the engine bay. But, you know, I think, you know, because originally I believe we were trying to clean up the firewall.
Yeah.
And so it was a typical, I screwed it up, I went too far, and it snowballed. But basically, it started out as we were just trying to cover up the original firewall. I mean, it had a new firewall in it. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It just
had the old caulk line.
Yeah, it had the lines and all the little dimples. It looked like somebody hit it with a ball peen hammer, but it was all factory stamping and stuff. And then it turned into a full custom engine bay. But, you know, I have a tendency to do that sometimes.
Well, that honestly, that's probably what I've got the most comments on is under the hood, just how clean and tidy it looks.
Everybody thinks it's an electric car.
Yeah.
So after we're done showing it and you get it home, what's your plan to do with the car?
Probably gonna keep it under wraps for a bit. Yeah, it'll only look like this once, you know.
Well, so unfortunately, that's the truth.
It's probably not going to get a whole lot of asphalt time for now, but
just so you know, it does run and drive.
Yes, it does. And there's plenty of videos out there to prove it.
We get that all the time. People making comments about, you know, oh, it doesn't even plug wires. It can't run. It can't move. You know, but
you know, going back to the unveiling, you know, I kind of intentionally didn't come look at it because I wanted that pull the cover off wow factor moment. You know, and if I had seen it progress like in person, I don't think it would have been that intense. I mean, that was just amazing.
I don't disagree, because when we pulled it off, I swear I thought Thomas cried a bit. I mean, he was over there weeping in the corner, but he was trying not to do it on camera.
It was a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah,
it really was.
You know, and for us, that's such a big thing, because we do these, and like I said, we get years involved, thousands of hours, and you know, at the shop it's more of an artistic thing for us.
Sure.
So we get really involved in these cars, and when we see them done, you know, if there was no enthusiasm with it, it would honestly just kind of knock it down a bit. And so, you know, that honestly, I want to say that was probably in the shop, I'd say that was probably the biggest moment for us. You would have thought, you know, we hit the lottery. I mean, Thad was going nuts. But
well, I mean, the crowd around it, you know, it was just a great moment, man.
Well, you know, and we had made the comment that, you know, that we wanted to compete. You know, we wanted to put the car in, but the reality is we knew it was a nice car, but you never know what it is until you put it next to something else. Right. And so for us, it was kind of a, you know, shot in the dark. Is this car really going to do well? Is it really going to show in front of, you know, these other high-end builds? I mean, really nice stuff. And, you know, I think when we went up to the award ceremony the day, you know, the weekend that we unveiled it, I believe me and you were on the same boat. You know, we went up to another customer of mine, Marty, and made a comment, hey, I think, you know, congratulations, I think you're going to win this. And then all of a sudden, I think, what did they say? They said like, Steve, I think they said, did they say your name? Or did they say, and I think me and you both kind of stood there for a second and looked at each other and was like,
I had to pick my jaw up off the floor.
I think it was a solid 30-second pause before.
It was. I couldn't believe it, man.
I jumped over a child.
I literally, you know, had zero. Like, I mean, like I was just letting everything cycle through, and when they, not that I didn't think the car was worthy of it, but I just thought.
Yeah, you just, I mean,
Never would have expected it.
Yeah, because they had texted him and they were kind of interviewing him.
Yeah,
so
it looked like it was a done deal.
It looked like it was a done deal,
Yeah,
and that's just not based. I thought this car was nice or anything. I just, just what was going on.
And honestly, you know, those cars are on a level that any single one
and
of
like
them.
I told her, it's almost comes down to preference.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, when you get some with a fit and finish like this, it's just I like that better than this, or does better.
Oh
than
yeah,
that,
yeah, and you know, it's like when you go to sell a car. You know, you may sell this car might be your taste, but it's not the next guy's, and that's the hard part. It's a gambling game all the way through the process when it comes to a custom car. I mean, you just never know what you're going to get. So, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You know, I know you guys got things to do, but, you know, I appreciate you standing here and talking to us with us. I think it's important to have the backstory of the car, and I think that makes a big difference in the way people perceive it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank
we appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate
you guys.
it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabby. Thank you guys for watching. I think, you know, it was a great time to have a conversation with Stephen and Tabby about this car, and I think it's really important, and it helps us be able to express to you how much these cars mean to our customers. So we appreciate you watching, and stay tuned because it's going to be followed up here very shortly with a full walk around video and all the nitty-gritty details of this '67 Chevelle.